Hello, everybody. I'm here with Cedric Joe. He is actually the actor on Women of the Movement. He played Emmett Till. And how are you doing today, Cedric?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really good. And yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So, I want to jump right into Women of the Movement. So, what has the feedback been like since since the series came out?
Oh man, it's been great. Great reviews, great feedback. And everyone was really loving it. It made me really proud. Definitely more. I definitely felt reassured. Because when you're doing a heavy project like this, it's something that you want to do. You want to really get right. And I feel like we did a great job. We had a great writer, great directors, which were all black females. So I'm just glad that everyone liked it and everyone enjoyed it, and we all did our part.
That's awesome. What was it like meeting like the producers, like Jay-Z, for instance?
So I didn't meet Jay-Z or Will Smith, but I did have a couple talks with the producer Aaron Kaplan with Capitol Records. And he was I would talk to him you know every once in a while we were shooting, he's been in the for us to do a film like this with big names like this. It's huge to know that we're gonna have a bigger audience.
And do you remember like the first time that you actually heard about the Emmett Till story?
Yes, I was around 9 years old, and I found out from my grandmother. And me personally, I always say, because I didn't really hear about it in school growing up. It was more, well, when I was younger, me and my grandmother used to go to a lot of museums, primarily like history museums we used to go to, and I got a lot of my Black history from my grandmother, and that was one of the stories she had taught me. And today, me playing Emmett, I always preach on how it's stories like this aren't taught really in schools. And I know I wasn't taught that in school. And I feel like stories like these and not only our Black heroes, but our fallen soldiers also need to be represented in schools.
Mhm. Yeah, just like you, like when I was in school, they did talk about the story as well, and I think probably because it's very heavy and it's dark. Like, even I learned about it. I probably was around the same age as you. So like, my mom was telling me, like I always knew about Emmett Till, and I know how they wrapped a cord around his neck and they dragged him. So I knew that,
Mm,
but like in school they didn't talk about it. So I'm
yeah.
also, besides me being a journalist, I'm also a third grade teacher. So after
Okay.
I watched Women of the Movie, I'm like, I'm going to show my kids this movie. So I
Yeah.
showed it to them
Got to.
today. Like I showed them the first episode, and they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this is a true story." I'm like, "Yes, he's not much older than you. You know what I'm saying?"
Yeah.
As I was watching it too, maybe back then they didn't have the resources, but I doubt that Emmett Till just
Mm,
only had a stuttering problem. It looks like he probably had a lot of other things that could have, like, the other things that he probably was diagnosed with that they didn't know. But like watching it now that I'm older is something that we need to talk about. Like there's different Trayvon Martins, Tamar races that need to get recognized in history.
mm, mm. People don't know that there were many times. Well, there were a couple times where Emmett almost passed away. From him just being a breech baby to him having polio at the age of 3 years old, which is how he got his limp and everything like that. Um, but we also want people to see, like you said, he wasn't far from each other. This tragic story happened. So we want. I just wanted people to see Emmett and Mammy for who they were, and I think our writer MJ did a great job humanizing them,
Mhm.
and not just starting off with a dead body or just the story that we know about.
When you guys went to go film in East Money, Mississippi, what did you guys film in the original locations?
So we shot in Greenwood, Mississippi, which it is close around that area, and
Yeah.
you know being in that environment, shooting a piece like this, you really feel it. You feel that although it's been years since this has happened, not much has really changed
Right.
since then, or at least in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
And this is it's really a timely piece. And like I said, cases are really still going on like this now. So I think it helped being in location to shoot a piece like this.
Right. And even with like the family of Emmett Till, have you guys even spoke to them that was down there? That I know some of them still kind of live in Mississippi.
Yeah. So Emmett Till's best friend slash cousin, Wheeler Parker Jr.
Yeah.
Um, I met and talked to him after we were done shooting. And he had already seen the film and he really enjoyed it, and he just hearing him talk about the story and hearing him talk about how Emmett was, and I remember the first time meeting him when I walked up to him and he had his first words to me was, "Hey, Bobo," and that to me it was like, wow, like he had to go through this, and I remember hearing him talk and say he had to live with this for 66 years, and there's not a day that goes by where he doesn't think about this.
It's such a
So
tragic and heavy
he's
story.
strong.
Right. The story is just so tragic. And it's like they were all kind of very young as well. Like even the grandfather, I mean, the uncle was only 64 when
Mhm.
this happened. So he was so conditioned into thinking like, I'm just gonna let them take, just let them take my nephew. He'll be okay. And
Mhm.
for him, I know he probably felt even worse about it because it was like he could have saved him in that instance, but he was also so afraid. He was so conditioned to
Yeah.
being scared of those type of men back then.
Yeah, yeah, and that's another thing. Like I was saying, because Uncle Mo's, he was born and raised in the South in Mississippi, so like you hear him in the film say eh, when he's being asked how does he live like this, and he responds as, "This is all I know." Like
Hmm.
it's his lifestyle, how he grew up, the separation, and just them trying to belittle black people. It's like it's all you know. So when you're from here and something like this happens, you think they're just gonna take them away and probably whoop them and bring them back. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. And yeah, that was something that
No, I definitely seen that in the story too, like how they, like you said, a condition, that's all he knew. Did you ever have a moment where you kind of felt like emotional connection to Emmett?
oh yeah, especially during the emotional scenes. And I always one thing that helped me get to where I need to go for those scenes was always thinking like what was going through Emmett's head. Um and it's such a dark place being a 14-year-old boy getting tortured by grown men, and there not being much you can do about it. And I just remember thinking to myself what was going on through his head, and really I'm only experiencing a little piece of what Emmett had to go through around this time. And for me that was tough, getting to go there. But I'm I'm grateful, and I'm blessed that I got to still portray a role like this and tell a story.
Right. After this film, have you heard from anybody that you thought you would never hear from, like that would reach out to you, was like you did an amazing job?
Yeah, well, there was actually are you familiar with Aries Spears? Can you hear me?
Yeah, say that one more time. It was Wi-Fi was breaking up again.
Oh, yeah. Are you familiar with the comedian Aries Spears?
I can't. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. My dad, he that's like one of his favorite comedians, and I've listened to a little bit of him before, and I remember he had tagged me on one of his Instagram posts, and I feel like around that time it was like this is really getting out there. And I remember Nia Long had posted it, and these are people that are successful in what they're doing, and they're known. So, getting the project out there with big names, and people like this who are supporting was huge for me. And it was a moment for me where I was like, it was a proud moment, you can say.
Yeah, you told an amazing story, and you actually look like the character too. Like when I was looking at like pictures of Emmett, because I always seen him when I was younger, but after I had to like really do my research again, and I'm like, wow, you look just like him from the eyes, from the smile,
Mhm.
the way you were walking, like the size, height, everything. Like it was like the casting director did an amazing job picking you. Like, did you think that you looked like him at all?
And we did have a resemblance. I have Emmett's eyes, that I had to wear contacts in the film, but he as far as just him being charming, him being a young black man, and uh having the personality, that was something that we were similar in.
No, definitely. And so what films or like TV shows would you want to be a part of if you had to choose something in the future?
Well, as of right now, because there are a couple. Well, I already crossed off my bucket list of telling a real story. That was something that I always wanted to do. I got to be in the movie Space Jam, which was huge for me. So as of right now, I really want to play a superhero.
Oh,
That's
I could see
something
that.
big for me.
I could definitely see that. If they got Miles Morales to do Spider-Man No Way Home,
Yeah,
I could
that's
see
my dream. That's actually my dream role. I tell everyone. I've said it before in the interview where Miles Morales will be a dream come true. But I'm definitely open to other just superhero in general. But Miles Morales is number one,
Yes, no,
definitely.
I see that. I really do see that. Like your spunk, your personality, like you got this.
Thank you.
um, are you currently in school still?
So I'm in an online program, a homeschooling program, and I am in my 12th grade year, but I'm almost finished. So the way I do my school, we can work at our own pace and stuff like that. So I'll be finished pretty soon. I'm 16 years old right now, but I'm trying to be
Oh, you're
legal
graduating
18.
early.
Yeah, so I'm supposed to be a junior, but trying to finish and be legal 18 so I can work, get back to
Yeah.
work.
No, I get it. I get it. Trust me. So you
Yeah.
have you been homeschooling before you got into the role, or you just got on?
Oh, I actually just started when I started shooting for Emmett for Women of the Movement. That's when I transitioned to my homeschooling program. Um because I couldn't really go to school, and
Good.
the workload and how everything was being made, especially me being in Mississippi, it was difficult. So
Right.
I transferred, yeah.
Oh, so I know your friends probably think you're so cool. Like, look at
Yeah,
Cedric.
something I'm lucky. Some of my friends always ask me like, "Do you miss it? Like just being in school like that?" I definitely miss, just the social part of it. Being around my friends and stuff like that. Having fun, but as far as the academics, I feel like this is better for me working at my own pace. Because in school, I was one of the kids who would like I was usually finish fast um,
Oh
growing
yeah.
up. So this is it helps. And I was like, I would finish fast, and then I would just like dang, I don't got nothing to do. It's like it's definitely it's beneficial to me and my career.
No, you did absolutely amazing. That's why I'm so happy to show my students again. I'm like, I gotta watch it. Like, I feel like I was missing certain details. Like, I thought I knew the story of Emmett, but
Mhm.
watching Women of the Movement and watching you portray it, your cadence, your on screen presence was so powerful. From when you walked in, when you were singing in the street, like that's something that you really can't teach. You
Yeah, thank
naturally have that essence. Yes, of course. Like, I'm super proud of you. Um, and I just want to say, keep going, keep making powerful movies. I see an Oscar in your future. And I'm just
thank you.
happy I was able to
Yeah,
speak with you.
that's the goal. Thank you. And I also want to tell people it did take a lot of research. Although I'm so glad, the reviews I'm getting, and like you said, it came off, good on screen. That's something that I really makes me happy to hear. And also there's really nothing there's the only person that can stop you is you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad